Made with Real Ginger, episode number we don't know.
752.
Yeah, we did say that. I think it's actually like 9.
Yeah.
But
not nearly as much as we say.
Yeah, not really very sure. So, Ginger and Wobbly.
Yep. You got it.
Talking about we don't know what.
We never do.
No. And so I listened to like Whitney Cummings' podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about how podcasts are really just a giant tangent.
I like that. If I could, because I have my own as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously not under Wobbly Bob, but if I could get that into my head, yeah, that would totally work for me.
That's really what it is.
So does she have anybody else on with her, or is it just her?
She interviews. No,
okay.
No, she's had. Now I want to be 100% honest. As an actual real fan of this podcast, when she does it by herself, I can't take it.
Okay. Well, see, that's why I don't do mine by myself, because I just don't think anybody can. I don't think it's okay.
Could now he's been pulled for other reasons, but
no,
he was very good. at doing episodes on his own.
But he's been pulled.
Yes.
Okay,
well,
so
for reasons not involving.
His podcast. Okay.
Yeah, just for like Me Too kind of stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, to my understanding.
Okay.
So he's been pulled. But he is the only person. Well, that's not true. Not the only. There is a guy that I listen to, Tom Gagliano.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I know that name.
We've talked about it before.
Okay.
His podcast is called The Problem Was Me.
Okay.
And he has his master's in like sociology, and he does a lot of stuff about codependency and stuff about childhood messaging and all that stuff. So he does his on his own also.
Okay.
But almost every other podcast I've listened to, it has at least guests.
Yeah. Well, I haven't listened to many, honestly. You did send me the one, what's her name? You just said
Whitney?
it. Yes, Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
You did send me that one. I haven't listened yet.
Rude.
But yeah. The only one I'm just not a big podcast guy, you know what I mean, in making them or listening to them. So, but the one I have listened to most was I just lost his name. Dang it. You know that guy who used to do Fear Factor. What the heck is his name?
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Yes, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, and his are really...
He's going to hear this and be like, jackass.
Yeah. Now, him, I have tried.
I like him because he gets in people of prominence.
Yes,
I guess.
He's had Bernie Sanders.
He's had, dang it, Russell something.
Russell Simmons?
No.
Russell Brand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was afraid you were going to say Crowe, and I'm like, no, it's not Russell Crowe.
That would have eventually come to me. But.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes, Russell Brand. He's had Pauly Shore.
Okay.
You know, like I like the out of the ordinary.
The comedy store.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So like I like out of the ordinary ones like that. Like the one with Pauly Shore was kind of like, what happened? You know, you kind of just fell off the face of the earth or whatever. So
I feel like sometimes you have to voluntarily do that.
Yeah.
Just recuperate.
I don't think his wasn't voluntary, but yeah.
Well, you know, that business is a different kind of business.
It is. And well, like I like what he said though about it. You know, he shot to fame so quick that it was like, that's something that happened so quick like that. It's like, where do you go after that?
Well, and that's actually a really interesting point, and that's how hard it is, I think. Like if I think about the entertainment industry, because once you finally get there, then it's like you have to keep pumping out stuff to try to stay relevant, even if it's not something that you want to do or connect with, or that's music, that's comedy, that's acting, that's like if you don't just
radio,
if you don't pump them out, you just kind of
fall to the wayside. Yeah.
It is a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's not something I would elect to do. Put that out there.
But you kind of do.
Well,
with radio.
On a very small, but
that's radio's different.
Very small scale.
It is. Radio's almost, other than the ratings part, I feel like it's just work your butt off and you will succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
that's most things.
Yeah. Except for entertainment, like you're saying, you have to keep pumping out.
Well, you do.
Certain
to stay
levels.
Relevant,
yeah, certain levels. And that's interesting too, because there's a lot of bands and whatnot that even like TV actors and stuff that don't necessarily, they're not out there like most people. They were at one point, like, and I reference like Pearl Jam, you know what I mean? They've backed off since 10 and all that back in the early 90s, but they still have a massive enough following that they can continue doing what they love. And I think that's the ultimate goal.
I think that is the ultimate goal. Like, absolutely. Yeah. Like Tool, they put out an album like once every 10 years. Yeah. But they have built such a cult following that it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
People will wait.
Yep. Yeah.
And
you hope.
Complain. Yeah.
Yeah, and complain. You're right.
That is what people love to do.
Right.
They do love to complain.
They do.
I've got like nothing to talk about today.
I mean, I feel like we were going pretty good there.
I mean, we were.
The podcast about podcasts.
Yeah. Well, so I did start listening to this. Okay. So I'm not like a true crimes person. Like, there's several people in this building who love true crimes.
I know. Podcasts. I don't understand the stigma to it. Like, that stuff kind of ticks me off. Oh. Like, if I watch it.
Okay.
Because it dives so deep into certain things, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
It just drives me absolutely. It makes me want to go hurt the person who's doing the bad, the evil, and I just, anyway, it does.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's an interesting response.
I've got a very superhero like inner being.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It's interesting. So what I've been listening to, it's called, what is it? Something in the Valley. I was talking to you and AJ Silver from the Hayride about this when it first came out because I accidentally stumbled upon it. Oh man. And now I already listened to the one from this week, so it's not. It's about Tracy Lords.
Okay.
So Tracy Lords was like a big porn actress back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. But apparently she got in when she was underage and then blew it up when she was 18. Like she supposedly turned herself in and just like blew up. That it was a big, huge thing. So it's really actually quite fascinating because what the people that are doing this podcast are coming at it from like 3 different angles. Right. So you get Tracy Lord's version of what happened, which is in her eyes, she was a victim, she was taken advantage of as a young girl and, drugs and this and that.
Kind of like Pizzagate or whatever, not to that extent, but along those lines. Like somebody
she was supposedly molested as a young child and blah, we don't know. Right. So I said supposedly. So then they also come at it from the porn industry's side, which is she came in with a fake ID, like it looked real, like that she manipulated
the system.
The situation. Yeah, that she came in and like ran that.
Gotcha.
Like ran it like a pro. Right. Like, like she knew what she was doing. Yeah. And then they also delve into like her personal life and who she really is, which is Nora Cruzman is like her real name.
Okay.
And her backstory. So it's really fascinating because it allows you to decide what you think happened. So I like that a lot because, the true crimes are like you said, they delve into the person that committed the crimes. And
that one wouldn't make me want to hurt somebody so much.
I am like, oh, there's a new episode. Like, and I listen.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really interesting. And I do wonder because I do believe that people have the capability, even at 15, to be like, to manipulate a situation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as soon as you said 15, somebody jumped into my mind, and I'm not going to name any names, but obviously they're much older now, but I know of a situation that was kind of like that as well. And you're right. I mean, right or wrong, in the right frame of mind or not, those people can do that. There's, I think it's all about a need for something.
Well, it is. So for her, she lived in somewhere, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Like she just wanted to escape her life.
Right.
Because her father was an alcoholic.
Because there ain't nothing in Ohio.
Yeah. And they make a really big point to kind of, explain exactly where she came from.
Right.
And an alcoholic father and a mother who was never there, so she had to help raise her sisters. So she wanted an out. And it started with this small ambition of small, air quotes, like a small ambition of getting into Playboy.
Right.
And then it just escalated from there. So it seems as the story unfolds, it seems very much like she had an intention, because she was also stuck because at 15 you can't get jobs.
Yeah.
So she wanted to change her life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will do whatever it takes to change their life.
Do you have a certain position that you take on it? Like, what do you think about it?
I think she totally
manipulated
it.
Yeah, totally. I was going to say the same. I mean, I don't know much about it like you, but like as far as where was her parents at, and
her mother's boyfriend. So you should really listen to it.
I should.
Her mother's boyfriend got her the fake ID. Took her to like the naked photo, naked modeling appointments, like. So
did they have a relationship?
Yes and no.
Like, like a physical.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's really weird.
It does sound weird.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is like I highly recommend people listen to it. I just got to find the name of it. Something in the Valley. Shoot. It's going to take me a second. Talk about something.
Well, staying on the subject, I would, like I said, I totally think that she manipulated the system, and I say that because, well, if you're from Ohio, how do you get out to, California without wanting to be there? You know what I mean? When your family's in Ohio, there's this whole play of things. You're talking about her. Would you say stepdad?
Mom's boyfriend.
Mom's boyfriend. So not even technically stepdad. Yeah. But that can get in your head, and that can play a role. Where was her mom at the time? Why didn't she go to mom and say, Mom, what's your boyfriend trying to pull here? You know what I mean? Like, we all have choices. And I was actually just telling Crazy Bob about that. Like, one thing I stand behind in life is legit. Like, we live and die by the choices we make.
Amen.
Yeah.
100%.
So.
100%. Once upon a time in a valley. Once upon a time in the valley.
Once upon a time in the valley. In the valley.
It's so good.
Gotcha.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah. So, and Ashley West is a part of it, and I don't know who that is, but apparently
sounds like
he's
another
porn.
Yeah, okay.
Porn guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, and it's so interesting. So they interview. This is where it gets wild. They interview like other porn actresses that she worked with. Like they really do a great job just giving you a full picture. And they don't. They even say they're not trying to angle it one way or another.
Gotcha. Right.
They're just trying to lay out all of the facts, because they're actually like Tracy Lord fans.
Right.
So I guess Tracy Lord's was like upset that this whole thing was happening.
Okay.
But they're like, we actually are like fans, we think this is a great story because you don't know. Like, nobody knows what the actual truth is.
Right. And, if you look at it from a motivational standpoint, her, for lack of better words, coming out about everything, it kind of stands to reason that, okay, there was some things that she didn't like in the business, and maybe she really didn't want to do it anymore. And now by, putting it on blast and saying all this and all that, well, now I can just sue for the money and not have to sleep with not random, but, other porn stars.
Yeah. Well, you really got to listen because it gets really interesting because what happened is at 18, she called the FBI to get stuff rated or whatever. But by 18, she started her own production company.
Oh, okay.
And she had her own rights to her own movies. And she was the biggest selling porn actress at the time.
Even at 18?
Even at 18.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden, she has all the rights to all her own movies, but she calls the FBI to shut down.
Even more motivation to, to capitalize. To capitalize and monopolize.
She would make money
on
herself.
It. Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's really, really interesting. And then I'm like, as a human, I'm like, wow, like how smart, just how incredibly, it's manipulative.
Yeah.
And it's not something I would willingly want to do.
Right.
But like.
It sounds like a lot of work. a lot more work than just. I'm not even going to touch that. Yeah,
it's fascinating.
Right.
And I'm like, how incredibly skillfully manipulative this person could be. And then to put herself in a situation where she would be the one benefiting from her own, I don't know. I find it fascinating. I think it's like, I think it's pretty genius on her part.
I can see that, but I feel like it wasn't so much as I think to be that smart, it would have had to have been a plan since the age of 15, and I don't think it was. I think
it came along.
It came
the way.
along, yeah, along the way, which is just something I don't think you had to be so smart for.
I don't know, man.
You don't think?
That's somebody who is thinking ahead,
well,
and
right,
like on their toes, you know, because. Again, it's just so interesting because she talks about like, oh, she was drugged up for all this stuff, but anybody and everybody they interview that she worked with, they're like, she's the only one that never touched like cocaine or anything like that. Like,
nice. I see. Okay.
So they're like, I never saw her do drugs, you know, and when they would do drugs, they were doing them, you know, together. It was like a whole big, you know,
and if she's not an addict,
right.
That's another point to make, I would think, is if she's not an addict, then you're not really, when it comes to cocaine, like let's be honest here.
I have never touched it. I've seen it. I've seen it done. I've not done it.
Right. Same.
I know judgment. I don't care.
But but I know people who have, and the thing is I know. So I had a friend actually at one time, and he kind of told me his ways of doing it when it came to cocaine, which was, just buy up something for the night, and pretty much do it all in one night.
No.
Yeah. Now, I never experienced him as a fiend for cocaine. Mm-hmm. That I feel like is another. Basically, at the end of the day, what I'm getting at is that's a different animal. That would be something like maybe heroin or something. That you fiend for.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not everybody, and everybody does react to things differently.
Absolutely. Like I've even said, like to my therapist, I've said, if I were to ever be an addict, it would be to something, an amphetamine. It would be cocaine. It would be an upper because I'm always so tired.
Gotcha.
So I have no interest in being more tired.
Right.
Like I just have no interest in anything that is going to shut me down.
Right.
But like, for example, when I have my spinal tap, they give you like massive caffeine pills.
Gotcha.
Like, essentially cocaine. And I was literally like in love with it because I
was
getting so much stuff done. I also believe.
But I guess I'm trying to figure out the hold on that. Like, was it a mental? It had to have been a mental thing, right? It wasn't necessarily. I mean, I guess there's in caffeine, there's those properties that, make you want it.
I assume it's mental, but I think that's where it all lies. So like I have a
like the chemical dependency, basically.
I have a codependency issue, and that can easily lead to can easily be a substance abuse thing.
Gotcha.
That's not obviously, thank God, not I know it's different life for everybody, but that's not where I'm at. And
and everybody. Is different again. But it's like, I forget what I was going to say. I had something pretty wise to say, but I forgot it.
That's what happens when you're tired.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super tired today, but.
Yeah. I don't claim to understand. I just want to be clear with everybody. Like, I don't claim to understand addiction.
Right. Oh, that's what it was. It was addictive personalities. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, like in my day, I think a lot of us have experienced, or, what's the word I'm looking for? Experimented, yeah. Certain things. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe I put it as I don't have an addictive personality. Mm-hmm. So I never, cigarettes was my biggest battle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And those are legal.
Right.
And in my opinion, man, you need to get rid of that. And,
No, I agree
because
with
that is, drinking. I'm not addicted to. I like to, you know what I mean? And even now it's, I don't know, twice a month, if that,
right.
That's at most.
Right.
When it comes to drinking. Of course, when we were 21 and 22, we were living it up, partying and stuff. I think I drank more before 21 than I did after turning 21. So, my whole point there is I guess people have different addictive personalities.
They do, and there is a level of genetics in it.
Yeah,
I've heard it's hereditary.
Okay,
so, like if your dad is an alcoholic, there is an increased chance that you would be an alcoholic.
Okay,
I don't know how true that is. But I do, again, like it kind of circles back to what you said earlier about choices. Mm-hmm. So I do think, because I used to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
And like I fully believed, for 10 years, it was like, had to have one on long car drives, had to have one when I ate, had to have it.
Yeah.
And then I just cold turkey. I was like, I'm done. I'm done getting sick. I'm done feeling sick, because I did just get to that point in my brain where I'm like, these are causing this.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I was the same way. Like my sinus issues and this, that, and the other is like, this is just progressively getting worse as the older I get. Like, why am I doing this to myself?
Right, why am I doing this to myself? And I quit 2008, and I think that's right when the bans on cigarettes were starting to roll out. So, like,
what do you mean?
All of a sudden, like, you couldn't smoke. Oh, my gosh. You don't remember any of this stuff?
The bans?
The bans. Like, you couldn't smoke inside anymore.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, I wasn't sure what you meant. Yeah.
Regulations? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd probably be better. Yeah, the regulations. Because I'm like, cigarettes aren't banned.
But yeah.
Right.
Like, so all of that.
No, I totally remember that. As a matter of fact, Berkeley County in West Virginia, you can't smoke within, like, I think 25 feet of the door. Obviously not in any restaurants. But if you go right across the line to
the casino,
well, Jefferson County, yeah. Well, like bars, even Berkeley County bars, you can't smoke inside, but Jefferson County you can.
That's weird.
So it is weird, yeah.
That's weird, man.
And I remember specifically going to a Jefferson County bar. Where I lived was real close to the line. Okay. So it wasn't like I was going way out of my way. Right. It was just like, hey, I'm just going to go down the street to this bar because it's right there and I can smoke inside of it.
Right.
So, yeah,
I was so glad when they did that. Like, at first I was really resistant to it because I was a smoker. Mm-hmm. But then, like, now that I've quit smoking, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, just thinking how they thought that having a smoking area in a restaurant.
A section, right, yeah.
Like, all of 2 feet away from your non-smoking section. And knowing all the risks of secondhand smoke.
Right.
And all of that stuff, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that went on for so long.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yeah.
Just the little things, like even
it was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, even the little film on my car, if you smoke in your car and you get that weird film
on the windshield.
And my clothing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just all of it. Like, I look at AJ Silver over there and I'm like, you stink. He still smokes regularly.
Yeah, regularly. No, I still occasionally have, and we've talked about this. It's definitely not a habit anymore because I don't go day after day smoking. Like and which is weird because I never thought I'd get to that point. I have a couple buddies who, if they're at a party, they'll pick up a pack of cigarettes for the night, but then won't smoke after that. Ugh. I know people who will just smoke.
I feel
one.
like I would have a smoking hangover. I feel
you do
like,
totally because that's how I am now. Mm-hmm. But it's not just 1 or 2 cigarettes. It's you really have to be smoking and drinking that night to have.
Right.
I mean, just even take out the drinking. If you have just a night where you're around a bunch of smokers and you're smoking, more than 3 or 4 cigarettes, you will. I can promise you will have it because I've had it. Mm-hmm. I mean, as lately as like a couple weeks ago, I smoked.
Yeah. You stink. Yeah, you stinky.
I was going to say that's AJ Silver, but I think they know now. But yeah, it's interesting. You can totally have a cigarette.
Yeah.
The smoking
like your
hangover.
lungs.
Oh, you just get a horrible headache.
Just yeah.
And then you put that on top of an alcohol dude, it's horrible.
Brutal.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And that's just it. I think, I'm getting older. I'm just like, man, I don't need to do this. I just really don't need to do this.
I find every now and again, I'm like, oh, I'm going to tie one on, whatever. But like,
yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
My thing.
I hear you. Same. And people make fun of me in the building, and AJ Silver's one of them. We're dropping his name a lot.
Yeah, we are.
But kind of makes fun of me for drinking wine. But the thing is I can drink a straight bottle of wine and not have a hangover. I will feel really, really good. There was just a picture
What are you looking at?
There was just a picture of somebody who had the whole snake tongue going on.
Oh,
So everybody knows we have a big screen TV where we're podcasting, and it's just pictures of the station and listeners and this, that, and the other. And there was,
clearly we need to turn off when we're podcasting.
Yeah, because that was, man, that's straight. I was like, whoa.
No, thank you.
It was crazy.
Nope.
But anyway.
You were saying bottle of wine, no hangover.
Yeah, no hangover, man. And that's not even, making sure I regulate it with water. You know what I mean? I can just drink a bottle of wine and feel really good. I won't be stupid drunk, but, I will have a really good buzz. And I don't get a hangover. People make fun of it, but I don't know. It's responsible.
Yeah. Knowing your limits is responsible.
Yeah.
So I get that. But it's so funny. That makes me think about, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. We were reminiscing on his wedding. And I'm like, I drank 3 bottles of champagne.
Wow.
3
I don't know what
bottles of champagne.
Did you have a hangover?
Oh, my God. Yeah, to say the least.
Well, see, some people have told me they're like, worst hangover of my life was from wine. I'm like, if you drink box wine, that was the worst hangover of my life, too. But
oh, no, Mad Dog 2020.
Oh, nice.
Disgusting. But Jaeger, I used to drink tons of Jaeger.
Jaeger
bombs, redheaded sluts.
I've heard that's made with deer blood.
Oh, gross.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't drink it anymore anyway.
Right.
I don't want to know.
Right.
It's one of those things.
That's why it's got the deer head on it.
Like the thought of it, right now makes me gag.
I honestly think somebody was messing with me when they told me that, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I did too. I used to do lots of Jaeger bombs and.
Like the smell of Red Bull still just makes me gag.
Okay.
Because, that's what it's Jaeger and Red Bull.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, it's so gross.
I mean, I don't mind them. I don't mind them. But it's like they don't do anything for me. You know what I mean? They don't. I mean, obviously it's alcohol. After a while, it will. But it just doesn't do it for me. So, and neither does beer. Like it just doesn't do it for me. I gotta drink so much beer that I get bloated before I actually start feeling good.
Yeah.
After you start feeling good, it just doesn't matter at that point.
Right.
But then you got to run to the bathroom every freaking 10 minutes because
you break the seal.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. A bottle of wine, you won't go wrong.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Like I was drinking wine for a while. But it was sweet wine, and I don't think then I'm done with sweet. So I don't.
Well, I think it's a lot of it's where people start. Like I started with that too. I think I started out. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but Marischwitz. It was horrible. I don't even know that it was sweet. It was just horrible.
Okay.
But for some reason, that's where I started and. Drank that for a little while. It wasn't a very long thing. But yeah, a lot of people start with the sweet wine. But then it's kind of like you start getting heartburn.
Right.
Or, indigestion or whatever. And so you start thinking to yourself, well, I need to go a little drier. And that's how the process kind of goes into the drier type of wine. And that's just the nitty gritty of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because now I'm on to like I would say Pinot Grigio is about the best because it's right there in the middle of sweet and dry. But for anybody who's never drank wine before, they're going to be like, this is dry. Yeah. This is dry.
Like dry, like very dry.
Like,
that's the bestest. When I drink dry wine, I'm like I feel thirsty.
You feel thirsty? Wow,
when I drink dry wine, I feel thirsty, which is a weird thing.
That is weird.
It's the best way to describe it. Like it dries out my mouth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it does make sense at the same time. But when you bring up indigestion and drinking, I remember the first time or heartburn. The first time I was drinking. God, this is way back when, and I think I was drinking jungle juice.
Nice.
Just like Everclear. And
how old were you?
In my 20s.
Nice.
In my early 20s, and I know I was drinking jungle juice, and I legit thought I was going to die.
Really?
I thought I was having like a heart attack because I'm like, why can't I? It just
like the next day, or
no, like later, like, I drank,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't quite the next day. But,
Okay, just a couple hours later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awful. Like, I'm going to die. And my friend's like, eat crackers.
Yeah.
And it helped.
Oh, wow.
I was like, this is really weird. But and then she had said, she's like, that's heartburn. And I'm like, oh. I had never in my life.
Dude, no. Hey,
Never
look,
in my life.
I am not judging because, there's been a couple times I've had indigestion and heartburn, and I've just been like, what the is going on?
Right.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
going to die.
Yeah. Like, but
feels-
now you kind of know, and you take a
Yeah.
Tums or
Right.
whatever, and you're better.
Yeah. But, in your early 20s, drinking jungle juice, you think you, like, are going to die.
Yeah. Jungle juice. Wow.
Did you
Was
ever-
it made in the bathtub?
I don't know. It was in like
I
one
didn't
of
know
those
if that was a
giant-
West Virginia thing or
It was
not.
in one of those giant. When I had it, it was in one of those giant like Gatorade.
Okay,
coolers,
okay,
you know,
yeah.
That you just push the button.
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Like at
'cause I don't
football
know who
games
made
and
it.
stuff, right.
Yeah, or why they made it or whatever. We were just there to have a good time.
No doubt.
Which for the most part I did until I thought I was going to die.
I remember going to a college party. Keep in mind, I never went to a brick and mortar college.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So obviously I didn't know anybody there, but it was fun. It was fun, and but yeah, the jungle juice was made in a bathtub.
Okay, that sounds about right. I mean, that's
looking back, I'm just kind of like, ew, that's kind of grody,
right.
But,
Yeah, right. This stuff we did in our 20s, like I did go to a brick and mortar college, and we that's where I drank the Mad Dog frequently. As just like because you're broke,
Mad
you're
Dog.
broke.
You know, I think I've only had that one time.
Man, it was like we would just because one bottle you're good, but I don't know why that didn't give me indigestion or heartburn.
Yeah,
that's like sweet as all sweet.
Right? Yeah, right.
And it burns so much. Just like it's weird that you can mention the name of like a brand of whatever and just feel it.
Right.
Like, I can feel Mad Dog in my veins.
I can't because, like I said, I think I've only drank it once.
Oh,
Did you ever drink Hurricanes?
Yes, I had hurricanes. Yes. Any of the sweet stuff, I definitely did. In my
Well,
life.
obviously, we always called that the, like in West Virginia, like the hobo drink because it was so cheap and
Super cheap.
but you get a lot of it.
You do.
Yeah.
Now, have you gone to New Orleans and had a hurricane?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, I mean, it's still sweet and cheap
Okay.
and whatever, but then they got grenades. Like, they got, like, these very specific... Because I feel like, and I don't know, because I don't actually know, but I feel like when you go to New Orleans, that's, like, a big thing. They talk about how hurricanes came from...
Okay.
I don't know how true that is.
Right.
They talk about it like it's
doubt.
true. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and they have, they're in, like, 3-foot
Right.
containers.
Right. Right.
Like, what is that? It's just not good.
No kidding.
How is this what our podcast turned into?
I don't know. We can just look. We'll label it substance.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And we've really run the gamut on that. However,
We really have. I mean, starting with the porn star podcast.
Yeah.
Too.
what a weird podcast.
I know.
What are you going to talk about today? Oh, porn stars, addiction, and drinking.
There you go.
I think that sums it up.
I think it does.
So we can just wrap it up. I'm just going to hit the button
Okay.
like I do every time.